And right now, a man who is one of Hollywood's most versatile actors. He's making his motion picture directorial debut with a movie called Cadence. And here he is, the founder of an acting dynasty, Martin Sheen.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. How
you
are
doing?
you? I'm doing great.
Good to be here.
I want to take you back in time for just a second, if you don't mind. Do you recognize this picture? Look at this. Look at the monitor right here.
Oh. Where did you get that?
1958, Dayton, Ohio.
That was my high school graduation picture from Chaminade, yes.
Mm-hmm. Ramon Estevez.
Ramon Gerard Antonio Estevez. Yeah, that's my real name, yeah.
One of 10, I understand. One of 10 brothers and sisters.
Yes, my mother had 12 pregnancies, 10 survived, 9 boys and 1 girl, and I'm a 7th son. The fact is, my brother Alfonso and I have argued over the right of the 7th son. He was the 7th actual male birth. I was the 7th to survive because one of the lads had died at birth.
Mm-hmm. The Estevez family, kind of like the Waltons with salsa, you know?
I guess so, yeah. They're quite a remarkable group. We're all still very close. The oldest 2 are gone now, God rest them, Manuel and Mike. Mm-hmm. But the rest are still kicking, and my youngest brother Joe is a fellow actor as well.
Do you see them all very often?
I see them as often as I can. I have 3 brothers that live in Dayton, Ohio. My brother Conrad, Frank, and John, and their families all live there. My brother Carlos, if you're listening, Carlos, or watching, make contact. He's down in Florida. He works with the horses.
How could you just mentioned 3, a 3-bedroom house with 10 kids.
Yeah, pretty rough, yeah.
That's got to be insane.
Yes. Not only that, it was very crowded.
Was it the motivation for getting you out of the house and getting into acting and everything?
Well, no, not really. Frankly, I don't have any memory of not being an actor. I was an actor all my life. I didn't know that it was called acting until I started going to the movies when I was about 6 or 7. And then I felt very comfortable about it because I could identify it then. And it was only a question of waiting until I was free to go and do it as my life's work. And so I feel very good about that.
And this picture was from 1958, so obviously Elvis, James Dean, they have any effect on you? Really?
Yeah, very much so. On everybody. You know, those 2 figures in particular just changed everything in music and cinema. You know, the music was no longer the same after Elvis, and the cinema was no longer the same after Jimmy Dean.
Well, you know, your high school picture looked a little bit like Jimmy Dean to me.
No, not really. You'd have
I'm talking about the sausage Jimmy Dean, the guy that... No. They look like James Dean, the actor.
Well, that's very sweet, but no, he was an extraordinary character. Mind you, I had not been aware of him until after his death, and then it was hard not to be aware of him. You know, he had a profound influence on everybody, not just those of us that were interested in acting. And he crossed all those lines, you know, male and female, rich and poor, black and white, old and young. Everybody was deeply moved by that sensitivity, that vulnerability. He was from
Indiana, which is right up
right across the border. And eventually, I got to know his family over there and his teacher and a lot of his people.
Let's fast forward just a little bit.
Go.
Apocalypse Now. Probably a big breaking point in your career.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
Age 37, in the middle of filming that, you had a heart attack.
I did. I did, on March the 5th,
That's
1977.
Young. It had to rearrange your priorities, Mark.
If I had had one today, it would be young. I'm only 50 now.
Gosh.
It changed my life. And I don't think it had a whole lot to do with doing Apocalypse Now at the time. I think I would have had that heart attack eventually somewhere because I was making myself ill, and I had to stop myself and create an emergency by doing it, which is what most of that kind of illness is about.
How were you making yourself ill?
Well, you know, I was smoking a lot and drinking a lot and trying to work out, and I was trying to be a movie star and trying to be a person and trying to be a husband and a father and all of these things together, and I was fragmented inside, you know, and so that sort of centered me and said, if you stay on this path, you're not going to last very long at all. So I kind of brought it back together, and thank God.
The good news is that you're here.
Yeah.
And believe me, I don't know if the camera picks it up, but you've got the Ozzie Nelson hairline, and you look fantastic.
Thank you. I feel pretty good. Thank you.
And we're going to fast forward a little bit and surprise you with something. I hope this is a surprise.
Go ahead.
Yeah, when we come back with director Martin Sheen into the night. Janie Kluwer, doesn't she play a mean keyboard? Back with Martin Sheen And of course, I got a little surprise coming up, but before we get to that, Cadence is your directorial debut.
As a feature, I'd done one other TV show.
And you got an Emmy working with your daughter.
They had one around that nobody seemed to want, so they threw it in the
You usually turn those down, don't you, the awards?
I have turned down most of the nominations I've received, but mind you, they've only been Emmys. You know.
I'm going to predict an Oscar someday.
No, I don't think
At least the
that's gonna
nomination.
happen, no. No, I can promise you it won't happen. No.
Well, let's talk about Cadence for a second.
Yes, please. Yeah, this is a film that I'm terribly proud of. It's the story of a young GI stationed in West Germany in 1965. His father dies. He goes stateside. He's an orphan now. He's terribly distraught. He wants out of the Army. He goes back to his outfit in West Germany. He gets in a lot of trouble in the hope of being thrown out of the Army. Instead, he gets thrown in the stockade for 3 months, and he's the only white guy in there. And then the fun starts. Yeah.
Oh, well, let's just take a little flavor of it. Watch this. Okay. That looks like fun.
Yeah.
Martin, I want to get the whole story. I think we should get the whole story. Let's bring out a little surprise. Charlie Sheen is here. His son. Charlie! I love seeing that. I love seeing that.
Good, good.
You know, I kiss my son, and I always tell him, now he's 12 years old, and I say, Kevin, are you going to always kiss me? And he said, Dad, I'll always kiss you. And you guys kiss.
You know, up until my dad died, he was 76 when he died. I was in my mid-30s. He called me honey. He called all the lads honey.
Yeah.
Everybody. I love that about him.
You call Charlie honey?
Not really, no. But I do kiss him. I love to kiss him, all of them. I'm lucky enough to have my best friends for children and my favorite actors as well. So.
That's great. And it didn't appear, Martin, that you taught Charlie to do the stockade shuffle there.
Well, now, he is privy to that because our choreographer, dear Russell Clark, created what is known as the stockade shuffle, the dance you see.
You were doing it great. You were getting into it, though.
Yes. But he made the gym off limits, and Charlie was the only one between us who was allowed in there.
What are the pluses and minuses to working with your dad? Or as your whole family, you know, Ramon's in this movie, too.
Yes, he is. Yeah, and he's terrific in the film.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that there's any minuses, at least not in Cadence that we discovered immediately. It's hard not to, or to deny the fact that the person standing across from you is your father. There's a certain...
Did you have to argue with him in any scene or any? Obviously you did.
Well, there was tension between the characters, but not between Martin and Charlie. We're just pretty much two film minds getting together to create the best product that we could, you know? And, but there's a certain history that's there that you either work with or play against, you know?
The fact is that if it hadn't been for Charlie, I wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to direct. He agreed to do the film only if I was the director. So.
I keep saying this.
Yeah, but it's true, man. No, it's true,
Yeah.
and I'm forever grateful.
What is your off-screen relationship?
Well, you know, this is a prime example. I was in the neighborhood. I figured he was here. I'd drop by. You know,
And we are so glad, too.
We're friends.
You go out and... You can't go out and chase women together. This guy's been married 30 years
I already
now.
caught one, yes.
Yeah.
Janet.
That is absolutely amazing. 30 years
This
married.
December, yeah.
In this business.
You know, I tell you, recently Janet and I were talking, and I said, you know, I'd marry you again today, right now. And she said, not me, kid. No. She said, I might live with you a while, but I'd keep that marriage business off for a bit.
And then your sons, now you haven't been married yet.
No, I came close.
You came close?
Yeah.
What would you say now? Is it looking? Is it who cares? What would be the status? Your dad's not listening.
He's not?
No, Charlie.
Am I looking to get married? Is that what you're asking? Here on national television? Wow, hot seat. I don't know. It's kind of up.
Because I mean, it's in the genes. You could be married for 30 years.
It's pretty frightening. Pretty frightening. No, if it happens, great. You know, if it's meant to be, then I guess I'll go with it. If not, I'll just be a lonely guy for the rest of my life. You know?
Fat chance.
Right. Did you hear this?
Ah, come on.
Hold on. Give him just a little taste of what you did when he came out here. That's lonely.
Thank you.
Any competition among the brothers? Do you feel any, Martin?
No, not a whit. In fact, they support each other very much. They have a real understanding of what it's like out there in the real world, and they're very, very supportive.
Well, Cadence was going to be out when?
We'll come out March 8th, correct?
It's opening in Los Angeles and New York March 8th. It opens down the eastern seaboard from Philadelphia to Atlanta on this Friday, the 15th of February. And then it'll begin to work its way around the country from those markets. It's in 125 theaters this Friday.
Take a look to your right. You're going to look like that in just a few years.
You poor baby.
And seriously, one of the best preserved actors we've ever had on this show.
Yeah, this is something to look forward to.
It's in the genes.
It is, yeah.
Find that woman.
Well, okay. All right, thanks.
Martin Sheen.
Okay.
Charlie Sheen. Cadence coming to a theater near you soon. And thank you for being here. Be right back into the night. It's great to have you staying up late.